not safe. Earlier this afternoon, this bus underwent a series of tests and it failed every single one. These tests are not mechanical. We're not going to blow up. We're not going to die. These tests were conducted by a team of parapsychologists testing the toxicity of the atmosphere. I have just received news we failed every single test, quite horrifically. We could be in danger. People do report feelings of being watched on this bus, of hands poking them, prodding them, slapping them. Some have reported hot, fiery breath on the back of their throats. But I'm sure everything's going to be fine, so let's continue with the tour. Thank you very much, Angus. Take us away. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us in the haunted graveyard. That's the only walking section of this tour. So that was your only chance to escape. Did anyone see any rats? I can't stand rats. That's my worst fear, rats. Mind you, I like the graveyard. I like anything historical. Did you read in the papers they've dug up a new mummy? An Egyptian pharaoh all covered in chocolate and nuts. It's called Pharaoh Rocher. Anyway, we are now heading into the medieval Old Town, ladies and gentlemen. This is King's Stables Road. This is where Burke and Hare, the serial killers, used to live. Don't bother looking for their house, it's gone. But it would have been on the right-hand side, round about here. It was here Burke and Hare committed most of their 16 grisly murders, and then carried the lifeless bodies through the dark Edinburgh streets. I tell you what, I better check in with Mad Uncle Angus. It's not a good idea to leave him on his own for long periods. Angus, how are you getting on now? Everything okay, is it?
There's blood on this bus.
Blood?
Before the tour, I found something red and sticky under one of the seats.
Maybe it's jam.
Jam?
Maybe someone was having a donut on the last tour.
It didn't smell like jam. It smelled like blood.
Maybe it was a cheap donut. Tesco value.
It was blood.
Angus, please desist. You're distressing these passengers.
They should know the danger they're in. I could tell them.
Let's switch him off. There's nothing to worry about. Although perhaps don't put your hands under the seats just to be on the safe side. Did you miss me upstairs? I'm coming to say hiya. You see, because dead bodies were once stored here, and a mysterious fire years ago, some people think this bus is haunted. That's why we have the cameras watching everything. Some people say they see shadows on the screens when there's no one there. Curtains blowing when there's no breeze. Yes, just in this curtain attacking me! We spend a lot of money on these special effects. That was actually me moving the curtain that time, ladies and gentlemen, but it could be something paranormal. Next time, the Grassmarket Square on the left-hand side now. One of the oldest market squares in Britain. This is where they had the executions, ladies and gentlemen, mostly hangings. People passing through this square report an icy feeling in the pit of their stomach. Some people feel an invisible noose tightening and strangling round their neck. But one of the people killed here was a woman. Now, I don't agree with that. Call me old-fashioned, but I just don't think a woman should be hung like a man. The woman's name was Maggie Dixon. She was found guilty of murder in 1728. So they brought Maggie Dixon here to the Grassmarket Square. And they hanged her. After the hanging, they noticed her coffin lid moving. They opened up the lid and she was still alive. The hanging hadn't worked. So they let Maggie Dixon live. She lived another 40 years, often referred to as Half-Hinged Maggie. Now, if you keep looking to the left-hand side, we're going to pass by a pub named after this woman. Before we see that, we're going to see the Last Drop pub on the left. That's where the condemned men would go for their last drop of whiskey. And here it is, Maggie Dixon's on the left-hand side now. The gallows stood about here. 10,000 people would gather to watch the grisly executions. Now they just stay at home and watch Love Island instead. As we leave the Grassmarket, have a look up this street on the right-hand side. Greyfriars Kirkyard is just up that road, the most haunted graveyard on earth. Now, Greyfriars is named after the Greyfriars monks who wore grey habits. The Blackfriars monks were called that because they wore the black habits. And the Pinkfriars monks wore no habits whatsoever. They sometimes wore string vests, which I believe were very holy. But I want to talk to you a wee bit about Greyfriars Kirkyard. If you have a look at the television screens now, that's Greyfriars Bobby, the famous dog depicted in the Disney film. That wee dog sat on top of his dead master's grave every single day for 14 years. Isn't that a lovely story? That man would just not let go of that dog's leash. The graveyard is a very dangerous place. If anyone on board this bus tonight is planning to visit Greyfriars, stay away from this tomb. This is the tomb of a very evil judge called Bloody George Mackenzie. Over the past few years, over 100 people have been knocked unconscious there. You can look it up on the internet, the Mackenzie Poltergeist. We're going to move off in just a second, ladies and gentlemen. As we do, have a look to the right-hand side. We're going to pass by the Three Sisters pub, named after the three McKinnon sisters. They were singers and dancers in the mid-1700s. They used to perform in the pub just along here. They were caught performing without a license, and they were sentenced to die. So they took the three sisters back to the pub, and they walled them up inside one of the rooms and left them to rot to death. We're going to see this pub on the right-hand side, just along here. The Three Sisters pub. It was in one of the upper rooms the sisters were killed, and their ghostly presence is still felt there today. We are now taking you on a journey through the dark underbelly of old Edinburgh. This is the Cowgate, ladies and gentlemen. Used to be a very rough area. When I first came to Edinburgh, I stayed in a lodging house here. That was rough. The first night the landlady said, "Have you got a good memory for faces?" I said, "Yes, why?" She said, "There's no mirror in the bathroom." She said, "Do you mind making your own bed?" I said, "That's no problem." She said, "Well, there's a hammer and nails on the kitchen table." But keep your eyes out here for the ghost of Mr. Boots, a slum landlord from the turn of the 18th century. He wanders around round here wearing big black boots, carrying half a broken bottle, and smiling at people. Now, I'm going to stop sightseeing for just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. There's something I want you to know. Earlier on I mentioned the fire that happened here years ago. Someone died in that fire, and their ghost is said to haunt this bus. We know she was a woman. We know her name was Jenny. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain calm. There is nothing to worry about. I do apologise about that sudden loud noise. I think that was some kind of electrical malfunction with the sound system. Although it's strange that should happen when I mentioned the ghost woman, Jenny. She was a very strange character around Edinburgh, was Jenny. Back in the 1960s, she was rumoured to be involved in the disappearances of several fat babies in the area. She was never caught, but her ghost haunts this bus, and it gets very angry if anyone sits in her favourite seat. I hope for all our sakes, ladies and gentlemen, no one is sitting in Jenny's seat tonight. something terrible could happen. Let's check the cameras and make sure everyone's okay. Give us a wave downstairs, please. Give us a wave upstairs, please. That's it. Everything seems to be in order. Under the seats, let's have a look. Everything's... Has anyone got a furry handbag or... There's a moose loose about this house. I told you there was rats in the graveyard. Maybe it's playing hide and squeak. Hide and squeak. I hope no one is frightened. I'm not scared. I've got the heart of a lion and a lifetime ban from Edinburgh Zoo, but that's another story. Now in old Edinburgh, the rich people lived at the top of the tall buildings and the poor people lived down at the bottom. They had no toilets back then. All they had was a bucket. At the end of the day, the lady of the house would take the full bucket to the window, throw the contents out, shouting, "Gardyloo!" And the poor people down below would run and duck for cover, shouting, "Oh, sugar, what a horrible mess. Isn't that nasty?" Imagine having no toilet. When I was a boy, we did our business in the neighbour's garden. We had a toilet. We just didn't like the neighbours. We're going to have a change of scenery now, ladies and gentlemen. Let us leave the city centre and head into Holyrood Park. So we're going to see all the greenery of the park just in here, ladies and gentlemen. In 1836, 5 little boys were playing in the park and they discovered a cave hidden in the hillside. Inside the cave they found 17 tiny little coffins. Inside each coffin was a perfectly carved wooden figure of a man, showing on the television screens now. Those are some of the weird coffins and figures that were found here in Holyrood Park. No one knows what they were used for. Some people think it was witchcraft. Some people think they're tributes to the victims of Birkenhead. The coffins are now on display in the National Museum of Scotland. But this is where they were found, inside Holyrood Park. As we continue to travel through the park, keep your eyes out for a large dog-like creature with piercing red eyes. Now this creature... Ladies and gentlemen! It's her. It's Jenny. Ladies and gentlemen, I told you this bus was haunted. It's time you heard the full story. You see, the woman Jenny, she was a mad woman, obsessed with death. When these buses were used for funerals, she would turn up to every single one, always dressed in black, long lank hair. She was weird. Well, it turned out she'd been sneaking into the bus yard late at night and sleeping on this bus. She was here the night of the fire. She died, coughing and choking to death on one of these seats. It's said her ghost still haunts the place, and if anyone sits in her death seat, bad things happen. People get hurt. We had a psychic on board once who confirmed all this. He even heard her voice saying, "Get out of my sea." Now I don't want to spook anyone, but someone must be sitting in Jenny's seat right now. That's why things are going wrong. It could be someone upstairs, it could be someone downstairs. The management won't reveal which seat. But if anyone starts coughing or has trouble breathing, you could be the one. You could be sitting in Jenny's seat and something terrible could happen. I've said too much, forget about it. Don't worry about it and don't trust psychics. I went out with a psychic once. She kept seeing people behind my back. Let us travel back through the park, ladies and gentlemen. And if you turn your attention here to the left-hand side, we're going to pass by St Margaret's Loch. Maybe we'll see some swans on the loch this evening. Coming up along here on the left-hand side, once you've seen the loch, look up above and you will see the ruins of St Anthony's Chapel on the left-hand side now. Now the chapel up there is said to be haunted by the ghost of a mad monk. He's seen wandering around there against the evening sky. I've had enough of this park, I don't know about you. It's given me the heebie-jeebies. Let's head back towards the city centre. And
Mr. Conductor, something's not right tonight. We're in danger.
Angus, what is it now? What's wrong?
There's a disturbing presence on this bus. It doesn't want us here.
The only disturbing presence here is you. Stop interrupting us, Angus.
We have to leave the bus now.
No, we must finish this tour.
Very well. But if somebody dies, it's your fault.
No one's going to die, ladies and gentlemen. It's just an old bus, that's all. I mean, it is true, they did used to store dead bodies here once. One of the dead bodies was a granny. Everybody loves grannies. I love my granny. My granny's 95 now, completely bedridden. Every morning I take her in my arms and carry her down the stairs so she can make my breakfast. Well, we're going to get out of this park now, ladies and gentlemen. Feel free to take photographs on board the bus at any time. You could capture a paranormal experience. We get lots of photographs with strange glowing orbs in them. If any of you took any photographs like that tonight, perhaps you could show them to me later on. Maybe we could get together. I'm free all night after this. I'll give you a paranormal experience. On the right-hand side is Holyrood Palace. You can see the outer railings. I believe those railings were originally put there to cause offence. If you keep looking to the right, you'll see through the gates into the main part of the palace there. The palace is haunted by the ghost of an old woman called Bald Agnes. On the left-hand side now is the Scottish Parliament. Built in 2004, it cost £414 million. It cost each Scottish person £81 each. If you're Scottish, look to the left, there's where your money went. If you're not Scottish, look at the Scottish people and laugh. We are now travelling up the Royal Mile. This is the oldest and most haunted street of all. Keep your eyes out here for the ghost of Deacon Brodie, the original Jekyll and Hyde, a lovely man by day, a robber and thief by night. He was eventually caught and hanged on this very street before a crowd of 40,000 bloodthirsty people. His ghost is still seen here. Keep your eyes out for a man with a lantern in one hand and a set of keys jangling in the other. Deacon Brodie is not the ocean. Angus, we're having some problems tonight with the electrics. I don't know if you can hear that. Oh, damn it. Ladies and gentlemen, I can only apologise for the malfunctions we're experiencing. I can assure you it's nothing paranormal, although it seems to get worse every time I mention Jenny. I shouldn't have told you about the fire. You weren't supposed to know the truth. I'll try and get the lights working. The lights. There we go.
Woman,
What is it this time, Angus?
you're not supposed to let people on during the tour.
Nobody else got on this bus.
You've picked up another passenger.
What the hell are you talking about?
It's her. Jenny's here.
Better stop the bus. Angus, you better stop the bus somewhere. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an emergency situation. I'm going to have to ask you to close the curtains all around where you're sitting. Upstairs and downstairs. This is not a joke. This is not part of the tour. For your own safety, please close the curtains. I'll explain everything in just a moment. Okay, everyone. Unfortunately, we are unable to finish this evening's sightseeing tour. There is something with us on board this bus. Something evil and dangerous. Now, I could let you go home to safety just now, but I've got a better idea. If this bus really is haunted, if you lot really came here for a ghost tour, let's try and speak to the ghost right now. Let us combine our energy and hold a seance. Now, this could be dangerous. We are messing with the unknown. There are risks involved. Follow my instructions and everything shall be okay. For a seance to work, we have to create a field of energy. The spirit will use that energy to communicate. We're going to do this by group concentration. So after the count of 3, everyone concentrate really hard. Okay, everyone, good luck. 1, 2, 3, concentrate. Spirit, come through. Give us a sign. Throw something, bang something, make a noise. Oh, I don't like this. Spirit, if you mean us harm, then bang again. I think we're safe. Oh shit. Spirit, who are you? Are you the ghost woman Jenny that died in the fire? Is someone sitting in the ghost seat downstairs? Is someone sitting in the ghost seat upstairs? This was a bad idea. I'm going to go and phone for help. Remain in your seats and don't panic! Is everyone alright? Let's open up the nearest curtain and see where we are. Oh my goodness, I think we did it. We made contact. Did you see Jenny coming up the stair? What a weirdo. She seems to have left us now though. Or has she? Sometimes these spirits can jump into the bodies of people nearby. Have a look at the person next to you in the eyes. Can you sense anything strange about them? Be careful who you go home with tonight. You don't want Jenny coming back to haunt your house. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have survived the Ghost Bus Tour. Let's have a round of applause for Uncle Angus. Thank you very much, Angus. And thank you so much to all of you for coming on board tonight. Now we're going to take you back to our bus stop where it all began. That'll take a couple of minutes, so enjoy the evening views until then. Once we're parked up, we'll do downstairs first, and then we'll call upstairs. But you've been a lovely crowd this evening. Thank you for joining us. If you've enjoyed yourself with me, Tommy Terror, and him, Uncle Angus, we've got a wee tip pad on the way out the door. Don't have nightmares. And thank you for travelling with Ghost Bus Tours.